Okay, hello and assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to Flutter Quiz League Day 6. First of all, thank you so much for showing such a positive response to the previous 5-day session that we had for Flutter Quiz League. Because we had so much of positive response from you guys, we decided to extend it to 3 more days and to basically give you 3 more chances of winning the amazing Flutter box that you can later on show off to your friends. So welcome back. And for all of those who are new, okay, because I know that a lot of new beginners have been reaching out to us lately. So for all the newcomers, let me just share with you what Flutter is. And yeah, let's get started. So basically, Waleed, my screen is visible, right?
Yep.
Okay. So basically, Flutter is a UI framework. It's developed by Google. So using that, you can basically design cross-platform applications, not just for mobile, meaning not just for iOS and Android, but also for different basically platforms, be it web, be it Linux, be it normal Windows desktop. Name anything, you can basically do anything with Flutter now with the amount of updates that we're getting with Flutter, right? So it's a single code base. And with a single code base, you basically get your application shipped out to the different platforms that you desire. And it just uses one programming language, which is Dart, which is simple and easy to not just learn, but also to use. Okay, so what is Flutter Quiz League anyway? For all those people who have been with us for the past 5 sessions, they already know that, right? But for those who are new, it's basically an extension of the 5-day session that we had initially. So what happens is that we have a 30-minute talk by a speaker. And today we have a wonderful speaker, Waleed, whom I will be introducing later on as we're beginning his talk, although he doesn't even need an introduction, but still, right? So we have a 30-minute talk by the speaker. And then at the end of the session, you have a 15-minute question that you have to fill and submit in the minimum time as soon as you can in order to increase your chances for winning the Flutter box, okay? So basically, the rules are simple. You have to listen to the talk till the end, okay? And you have to attempt the quiz as fast as you can, all right? So don't just be in like, I have to get each and every question right. It doesn't matter if you get 5 wrong and 5 right. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you get the maximum number of questions right in the least possible time in order to win the Flutter box. Okay, so please just focus on that. And obviously, it's a you need to be signed in with your Google account. So make sure that you're not using incognito mode. Make sure that you're already logged in with your desired Google account before we launch the quiz and before you proceed to it, right? And lastly, previous winners from previous Flutter quiz sessions, they are not eligible for a Flutter box for these sessions, right? They can still participate, however, if they just want to check how much they've learned, how many answers they got right, they can still attempt the quiz, but they won't be essentially eligible for winning the Flutter box. Okay, we have to give everyone a chance. So even if you're a beginner, like if you're literally tuning into Flutter for the first time ever, you still have a chance at winning the Flutter box because all the questions will be from the talk per se. So make sure that you listen to it from start to finish. All right. And now, today we have a very interesting topic whom Waleed Arshad himself, the founder of Flutter Karachi, Pakistan himself, will be giving this amazing talk. He is Pakistan's first ever Flutter Google Developer Expert, which is a really big honor. And he recently joined Venture Dive as well as Senior Flutter Developer. Today he will be talking about Slivers in Flutter. So without further ado, let's get started. Over to you, Waleed.
Thank you so much, Sakina. Whenever if my voice breaks or my connection distorts, you just tell me, okay? So I'll just do something about it. So guys, thank you so much. If you guys don't know Sakina Abbas, so I would just like to mention that Sakina recently joined Flutter Karachi as a senior, senior member, as a Flutter developer, as as multiple tasks. We are all volunteers. So she has been doing great since then. She is also responsible for maintaining some codes and things like that. So she's I really appreciate because she is running a company herself. So whenever she gives insights about code, insights about Flutter, insights about Android. So that's a combination of CEO plus developer. So that's a lot to learn from her. So you guys need to follow her and learn from her a lot. I learn her a lot from her too as well. So let's begin without further wasting any time. So guys, today the topic is Slivers in Flutter. This is quite amazing things. When I started discovering Slivers and Flutter, it was really amazing, and the types of UIs and the types of dynamic things and gestures and the things that you can create using Slivers and Flutter, it's amazing. So let's just begin. A little introduction about me. Those who don't know me, I am Waleed, and I'm a GDE in Flutter. Recently, a couple of months I have been announced as GDE for Flutter and Dart. I have been working in Unicure Solutions in Karachi Electric, in TPS and IBM previously. Currently, I have recently joined Venture Dive as a senior Flutter developer. I'm basically I have graduated from FAST and I am currently doing my master's from IBA, which is about to end, inshallah, if things go right. So yeah, I'm a writer on Medium, and I speak on events. I present, and I'm a GD. So today we'll be discussing these four major things. First of all, we'll understand what is a sliver. We'll understand when to use it, when not to use it. We'll understand how to use it. We'll understand it how to use it through code as well. So I will not be live coding because that's the format of the whole quiz competition that we together designed with the team. So I would like to I would like to reason it as well for those who think that there should be live coding. So yeah, I also personally I'm a lot in favor of live coding, but the thing is, when you are about to give a quiz after a talk, so people mostly understand and mostly remember things that are being told them through slides. So there are some points written in slides, some terms written in slides, which they are remembered after the talk. So it's easier to recall rather than if I completely live code something and I speak and then things miss out. So that's why we kept all of the talks on a presentation space. So before we discuss anything about Slivers, let's just go back and see that what are the normal widgets and how do they behave in a normal UI. So we have containers, we have size boxes, we have all other widgets which are not scrollable widgets, which are normal widgets. So how do they react? How do they build up themselves? What are their nitty gritties? So let's just see that normal widgets, normal size boxes, normal containers, they use render boxes, and render boxes are inherited from render objects. So render boxes, what render boxes do? You don't need to worry about the term, worry about heavy terms. So render boxes itself is it's self-explanatory. So it says that a box is being rendered. So that's why it's called a render box. So if it's a box, that means that it must have a width and a height. So that's why render boxes populate through min and max constraints. They need to have a fixed bounded height and width. That's the main thing with all the widgets that are normal widgets that are populated with normally in Flutter, like containers, size boxes, and image containers and all of that. The containers that are not scrollable, that are not expandable, they all they use these render boxes, and then they populate using their min and max constraints. So they ask their parent, what is the minimum space that I can fill up. So the parent tells that this is the height and this is the width. That's the maximum that's being given to you. So you need to expand in that, within that. So then the child says, okay, if I'm giving a height and width of 50, so I can populate within that. I cannot go beyond that. So the child can populate within the 50 by 50. So it can populate on a 40 by 40, on a 40 by 50, on a 30 by 20, but not more than 50. So that comes through the parent. So that's why all of these things use render boxes, and they populate through min and max constraints. So that's just an overview of how normal things work. This doesn't work the same way for scrolls. It works for boxes, but it doesn't use the same way for scrolls. Why? Because scrolls are movable objects, right? You scroll up, then the UI moves out of the viewport, and some new UI comes into the view. So that is, you cannot bound those things using min and max height and min and max constraints. So what does Flutter do for that? For that, Flutter introduces slivers. Okay, so to define sliver in a single phrase, according to Ian Hickson is the lead for Flutter development in Google. So if you go and look at his talk, so he says one phrase from his talk. So he says that sliver is a slice of something. It can be anything. So it's basically a slice. Remember this: sliver is a slice of something. If you remember this, you will understand everything that is going on in this talk further and in the code as well. So sliver basically is a slice of something. Just understand this for now. Now, what do slivers use? Slivers use render slivers. So render objects, render boxes, render objects, render slivers. Render boxes means the box is being rendered. Render slivers means the slivers are being rendered. So the slivers don't have height and width, and they don't populate using their min and max constraints. They populate through sliver constraints. So they have to have sliver constraints, and that's not min and max height. So that's just the area that is expandable. So that is movable. That defines upon the whole viewport that you have. So you'll understand. You don't need to get into the terms and things like that. So when I'll tell you how to use them, you'll automatically understand how do sliver get its constraints. So for the sake of understanding, let's just look at this example. If you can see this pile of books that I have. So to understand how slivers work, to understand the slice concept, so let's just see that this is a stack of books that I'm having. So this is a sliver. This is a slice of something, right? So this sliver goes through the stack all the way and slice it up itself all the way through the stack, and it populates in the UI like this. So this is the whole UI. So you see, when a slice needs to be added to the stack, so this whole thing cannot be bounded by height and width. So you cannot bound its height, because you can have a slice of something in between and it needs to expand itself. So you cannot fix this height. One more thing is that these all containers needs to be slivers. Why? Because this single slice can be a list of multiple objects, right? So this itself can be a dynamic list, which we don't know how much length, how much height will it have. So that's why these all need to be sliver objects, and this whole needs to be some big parent. So this whole needs to be some big parent which can hold slivers. So I'll just tell you what it needs to be, what that big parent should be. So this was just for understanding that how the slice things act. So I'll just, when I'll show you the UI, so I'll just refer to the slice thing so you'll understand through this concept. So let's just move on and let's just see that where and when to use slivers. Slivers can be used when you need to populate multiple dynamic lists and grids in a single screen. So when you want to populate two list views and both are dynamic and both, and you don't know about any of them how much elements they have and how much elements they are gonna have. For suppose you have two lists that you need to populate uh, over each other. So this list is of some elements and this list is of some elements and both are dynamic, so you cannot put them in simple column or in simple thing. So that will crash your UI. So you need to have a something that is going to be that I'll show you. So you need slivers will be used where when you have multiple dynamic lists in a single screen. When you have a collapsible app bar, so you see that in WhatsApp the UI of the image collapses up when you scroll up. So in that cases, and you can see when you have a lot of dates and you scroll up and the date fixes itself up when you scroll through the items of that particular date. So that can be used, slivers can be used in that as well for persistent category headers. Okay, so how to use slivers? So you see, I have here two examples. One example, you see the uh, app bar is shrinking, but it's going beyond the UI. So app bar shrinks and it goes beyond the UI, and this text also makes itself smaller and it goes beyond. And this one, this app bar stays there, right? So we will see how to build them both. So you see, this hole is one sliver, this hole is another sliver, and this whole grid view is another sliver. So this itself is a slice, this itself is a slice, and this itself is a slice. So you see, when you have to add this much big slice in between, so you cannot bound it with a height and a width. So you need to have slivers for that. Always remember, slivers need to be put in a custom scroll view. Custom scroll view is just like any other children widget which you use in your daily life, like column, like list view. The only difference is that list views and static list views and columns. They have children. Custom scroll view has slivers. So all of the children in custom scroll view need to be of sliver type. Only then that expandable thing that I told you, that big parent is this customer value. So that big parent needs to be really dynamic in order to be able to accept slices of things in between the UI so that it keeps on populating the children well. So remember always, whenever you are using slivers, you always have to keep them in a custom scroll view. Okay, so here is an example of a custom scroll view using a sliver app bar. So you see, you don't put a normal app bar in a custom scroll view. If you put a normal app bar, it won't populate. You see, this is the slivers, right? So you need to have all the sliver type subject. So you put a sliver app bar, you have this print property here, and this print property, when you keep it true, this thing happens when you keep it true. So you have this background color, you have the expanded height. Expanded height is this height, the maximum thing that it's expanding. So you have this flexible spacebar, which has a text widget. This flexible spacebar does what it does. It automatically makes the text smaller as you scroll up. So you don't need to worry about that. So it automatically expands itself. This is an example of a sliver app bar with a sliver list. So you see this green list beyond this app bar. So this is how you keep a sliver list inside a scroll view. So you see all of this is being done inside that slivers children view. So you see all of these things are inside a custom scroll view. So you have a sliver list. List has a delegate, and delegate is there are two types of delegate: sliver child builder delegate and sliver child list delegate. So I'll just phrase you, and I'll just tell you what it does, and the difference between the two. I'm just this is just for understanding that you need to have sliver type of object inside a custom scroll view. So you don't need to worry about if you are not being able to understand some of these terms. So I'll share the code as well after the talk. So this is simple. This is building a list of 10 items, child count 10, of 10 items with containers and with green colors, all the styles that I've given. So this is a dynamic list, right? Which is having a child builder delegate. This is a Sliver grid. Sliver grid as also the same thing. You have a child builder delegate, same as the Sliver list. So you keep this, you keep a child count here. The only difference is grid needs to know that how much items do I need to place on a cross-axis count. So cross-axis means this horizontal. So I have told this UI to populate 3 boxes in cross-axis. So I have given it cross-axis count of 3, and it has a spacing padding as well. So 3 boxes in a single row. So that's how the grid delegate works. This was a Sliver grid with a dynamic list. So now let's just see that the confusion between the Sliver child list delegate and Sliver child build delegate. So as you must have used list views, right? So you have 2 types of list view. One is a normal static list view, and one is now a dynamic list view. In a static list view, you have children, right? So you put your items inside a list view inside children body without having to worry about the count and all that. So you do it like this, right? Do it like this. You do it inside a list view, you keep children and they start populating. So Sliver child list delegate is the same thing, this is just a static list view where you have static children, array of children, where you can put your children as much as you want, and they will populate automatically. When you use a list view dot builder, so you need to have an index and to have a context and to give it a child count. So that is the Sliver child builder delegate. So in the previous slide, we just see that list view is equivalent to Sliver child list delegate, and list view builder is equivalent to Sliver child builder delegate. So this is static, this is dynamic, simple stuff. So this is static and this is dynamic, simple. Now, whenever you talk about slivers, and I talk about slivers, and I explore slivers, so the first thing that comes into mind is, okay, fine, I have populated list views inside my UI, and a beautiful app bar and beautiful flexible space, and it goes beyond the UI and it's working like a charm. But what if I need to have a text widget in between the UI. If I want to have a text widget between 2 lists, how do I do it inside a custom scroll view? So how do I do it? So that's the question that comes into mind. So you see, this is another slice that wants its way through the custom scroll view, right? So this is a slice that has a normal height and width, and it wants to have a space in custom scroll view. It's asking that I also want to be a part of custom scroll view, and I have fixed height and width. So can I have a part in slice? Can I be a slice or not? So that's the thing that the simple widget asks to scroll view. So scroll view says, uh, yeah. So when you keep a normal container inside a custom scroll view, so this happens. It says you have to have a type of a render sliver. You cannot keep a type of render constraint box. So when you keep a container directly in a custom scroll view, this happens. So what this custom scroll view is saying, it says I need slivers only. I cannot have something that has a fixed height and width. I cannot have that. So what this container will do? This container wants to be a slice and wants to be a part of the UI. How will it enable itself? So of course there is a widget for that too. Of course. So then comes the sliver to box adapter. What sliver to box adapter does is it takes a widget inside it, whatever widget you want. That can be a normal widget, a container, a size box, whatever you want, and it it converts its min max constraints to Sliver constraints. That's what adapter does, right? So you see that adapter converts some type of data to another type of data that can be understandable by a customer scroll view. So it takes the min max constraints. It asks for the child for its child. It asks for the container that what is your min max height. It says 40 by 40. Okay, give it to me. I'll convert it into a Sliver constraint, and I'll give it to the customer scroll view, and you can have a slice in the UI. So that's what Sliver to box adapter does. So when you put this container into a Sliver to box adapter, customer scroll view becomes happy, and it allows to have, it says, okay, fine, now you are eligible to be a part of slice, to be a slice in my UI. So now you can populate it. So whenever you want to have a normal widget inside a custom scroll view along with your dynamic lists and dynamic grids, you do this. You put it inside a Sliver to box adapter. Inside this, you can do anything. You can keep any widget you want, normal widget, like a normal widget. That's how customer scroll view handles all the Slivers inside this. So that the point is, all the things that are to be given inside a customer scroll view needs to be of type Sliver. That's the key. It won't accept anything else. So for normal widgets, it has given an adapter. So use that adapter, but it won't accept normal widgets. That's the simple straight thing that customer scroll view says. So now I'm going towards the end of my presentation. I wanted to keep it short because I know that you guys are waiting for a quiz and all stuff. So let's keep it short. So this one I really like this, and I really this is really cool to understand how this works. So this is the last slide, and I just wanted to have this cache extend thing so that you guys can understand how actually UI rendering works in that. So cache extend is a property inside a scroll view. That can be any scroll view, not just custom scroll view. Now we are out of the context of customer scroll views. We are not inside a customer scroll view. We are talking about normal scroll views. So inside every scroll view, there is a property called cache extend. That property, what it does is, when you are seeing a list on the UI, so Flutter automatically renders only those elements which are being seen on the UI. So it renders only this part. When you populate a UI of 100 elements and the UI can only have 10 of them, so Flutter will automatically populate only 10 of them. It won't populate beyond this. So when you scroll up, only then the widgets populate. So in order to have a good performance, so you see the widgets that are not populated here, when user scrolls them, so these unpopulated widgets come here and they start loading, right? So in order to avoid this, Flutter has given this property in scroll views. So what you do is, this property is of double type, and it takes a double value. So if you give some value, it automatically renders those pixels out of this viewport. So if suppose I give its cache extent that two more elements need to be populated beyond my UI. So it will populate two elements here and two elements here outside of my viewport. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of cache extend. It allows you to populate some elements outside of your UI, so that when the user scrolls up, the populated widgets are already there. They are not loading on the runtime. So cache extend, what it does is, it preloads some of the UI on above the viewport and some of the UI below the viewport before they are even shown on the view. That's the main idea. So they are not being shown on the view, but they are populated. So when the user scrolls up or scrolls down, so the user does not have a bad user experience. So it does not load at runtime. So it keeps them preloaded. So that's the whole idea of cache extend in scroll views. So that was it for today. I know it was short. It was 25 minutes, I guess, 20 to 25 minutes. So we are keeping these presentations short because of the quiz and all the stuff. So thank you so much. These are my, I'm always available on LinkedIn and Twitter. People know that I always reply on LinkedIn to people. I reply sometimes late because of all the busy schedule and office stuff. So I always reply on LinkedIn. I always reply on Twitter. And thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I cannot answer to them right now. I can see the comments. People are having, people are not asking anything, I guess, but they are commenting things. Is there a sliver bottom app bar? Yeah, I'll answer that separately, because we are not taking questions after these sessions due to the quiz, because we are not going to spend time on that. So thank you so much for all the comments. I'm reading all of that. Thank you guys for all the support. This is my my info. You can contact me on that, and I'll answer all of your questions regarding this talk, and I can also provide you code if you want. I have not put it on GitHub, or I have not coded it somewhere. So I'll if you ask me, I'll just give it to you. So thank you so much, and we are about to start the quiz. It's 9:31. We have 4 minutes. After 4 minutes and 9:35, we'll start the quiz. Sakina, like you can just over to you now.
Thank you for such a wonderful session, Waleed. It was really insightful and informative. The book analogy was it was pretty amazing to understand the very concept of slivers, because even when I was starting on with Slivers, it was a little confusing to, just understand it in the beginning. But that book analogy was really good, and I'm sure it really helped the beginners understand and just get the basic concept of what basically happens. So it was a wonderful talk. Guys, I did see all your comments. A couple of you had some questions because Waleed mentioned that we'll be starting
Okay,
the quiz.
we have like 3 minutes in quiz.
Yeah.
So like I can see, is there a sliver bottom app bar? Okay, guys, yeah, Bilal Rahman Khan. If Sakina just flashed this, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a silver bottom app bar? So guys, uh, this whole thing which I told you, that was inside a body, that was inside the body of the whole thing, right? So scaffold has a separate property for bottom app bar, right? So you don't need to have a sliver bottom app bar because it's outside the scroll view. So you don't even need to think about that. You just keep a silver, you just keep a normal app bar, and you keep custom scroll view inside the body, so that all the things inside your main UI remain in the customer scroll view. So you can have your floating action button, your bottom app bar, your sidebar, your drawer, and other stuff intact without having to have to worry about slivers and all of that. So you don't need to worry about that. I hope that answers the question. Uh, how many time? Yeah, 2 minutes left.
Is there any other question that you'd
Yeah.
like to take?
How this is okay. So they are they are quite advanced, and they are quite. Uh, it will take a lot of time to answer them. How would cache extend differ from builder on normal scroll views, as in list view builder or grid view builder? Then list view is also a scroll view, I guess. Uh, I think that list view is also a part type of scroll view. So uh, you will have the that that cache extend property. So whatever widget that extends itself from a scroll view, it automatically has a cache extend. Simple as that. So I hope that answers your question. So you just need to let me just, I'm just reviewing that. We have 1 minute left, right? Oh, we are done. We are done. Let's just share the quiz. Sakina, just share the link in the comment. I'm presenting my screen so that we can have. Uh, so guys, we are just sharing the quiz right now. The quiz link has been shared and it's 35. Sagina, just share my screen.